Welcome to my channel. Myself Ganesh. Today we are talking about this new series, that is the DevOps process. So how this DevOps is work and how this DevOps is implement in your organization. So we will do some demonstration under this DevOps using these multiple tools. So before that we need to learn about this DevOps, so how it will work. Okay, so this DevOps, that is nothing but your development plus operations. So that means in development you are build some code and then you need to test it. After test you can release that code. So once it is released to your on-site team, so that is your client, so that code it needs to be deployed in your organization. So after that you can deploy it, and after deploying you need to operate it. So for operating, multiple engineers you require and their operations parts you need to cover up under this operate part. And after that there is the option, that is the monitor. So in monitoring whatever the process are running under this deployment, so it needs to be monitored at a particular time. Okay, so this is the flow where this DevOps is working. So first we are going to plan whatever the project coming from any industries or any client. So first we are taken that project and we are going to plan it first. Once we plan, we need to write one code for this plan. Once this code is built, then we need to check with the build team, so that build team will test it first using that code. Once this build team has done their task, then it will assign it to test team. This test team will test all these codes, whatever the code is has written, then it will release it. So this part is of this development part, that is plan, code, build and test. Now this plan is now completed, so we need to release it to our client. Okay, so once we have released, so that means we need to deploy it first in the client side. So that project you need to deploy, so whatever the softwares they required, so we will discuss in the another slide. So this multiple softwares we can use to deploy that project. So you need to use that deployment, then you need to operate some operations, you need to require to operate this project. And after that you need to monitor it. So whatever the process is running for this project, so there is some monitoring tool we are using. So in next slide, this is the DevOps diagram. So here is also mentioned, that is plan, code, build, test, and then it will release it, then deployment, operation, and then monitor it, right? So for each and every that is our code. So for code there are multiple tools we are using. So mostly we are using this Git tool, right? So these are the tool we can use to deploy our code. Then for build we are using some other tool, that is Maven and SBT. For testing we are using some other tools, that is SE and JUnit. And for releasing we are using some Jenkins, code ships. So these are the tools we are used. For deployment there are DCOS, Docker, AWS, Kubernetes, Shape. So multiple softwares we are using, that is operate under this operate, that is the Shape, Ansible, Kubernetes. These are the softwares are available. And for monitoring there are different software, that is Nagios, Splunk, Datadog. So these are the multiple options you will get, and as per your requirement you can use that particular softwares in your environment. That is nothing but your software development life cycle. So under that software development life cycles, that is first we are doing some plan, then code, then build, then test, then be release, then deploy, then operate, and then monitor it. So there are some methodologies we are using to develop this DevOps. So the first, previously we are using, that is the waterfall method. So under this waterfall method, whatever project we are getting from this client side, so that project first we will write one code. So whatever the process we have done under this project, so we have built all these things. That means our development part we have done. That means our plan, code, build, test. So this part we have covered, and then we can release it. That means this code is now available. But in waterfall process, there is one problem, that is 1 minute. So under this waterfall process, whatever the project you have written, so that project you have directly given to the client, and if suppose client requires some changes under that project, so at that time you can't change, because this project is already built, test, and all these process are done under this project. So you can't change, and it will take more time to edit their code. Then again you need to build, then again you need to test. So it will take some time, right? So this is the previous method we have used, that is the waterfall process. Then this another method implement, that is agile method. In agile method there is different parts. If suppose we are building one apartment, so in apartment there are suppose 10 floors. So that 10 floors, that means we have created all the 10 floors and just hand over it to the client, right? So that process is nothing but the waterfall process. And in agile method, first we are build first floor, then it will assign it to directly to the client side. That client will approve that first floor, that means there is no changes is required. Then we will proceed with the second floor, third floor, fourth floor. So this process is nothing but that is your agile method. So in agile method we are some naming conversion, that is the sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. So this sprint 1 is nothing but your first floor, right? So in sprint 1 we have written one code, and that code will check with the client first. Once it approved, that means there is no changes are required to the client. So that means we will proceed it for the second stage, right? So that is nothing but our sprint 2, then sprint 3. So like that we can write our code, or we can proceed with our project. So this is the method, and all this methodology, that is sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. So all when we combine, so that is nothing but our scrum. So scrum is nothing but the combination of the sprint. Okay. So this is the methodology we are using, and after that DevOps comes in the picture. So this is the diagram for this waterfall, agile, and this DevOps. So this waterfall process is basically we have used in 1970 to 1999. In 1990 to 2010 till we have used this agile method, and after 2010 we are using this DevOps method. So these are the some points are written here, like the structural linear approach, upfront planning, in-depth documentation, high and less time to market, quick return on this investment, flexible continuous evolution. In DevOps there is the real time to market, DevOps collaboration, continuous changes, and the delivery. And there are four stages, that is the version control, second one that is the continuous integration, third one that is continuous delivery, and fourth one is the continuous deployment. So these are the flow we are follow under this DevOps stages. And for this version control, basically we are used to deploy for code management. So that source code management we are using some tools, that is Git we are using. In continuous integration and this continuous delivery, in continuous integration we are using some Jenkins tools. In continuous delivery we are using this Maven tool, and in continuous deployment we are using some uh, deployment tool like Shape, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes. So these are the tool we are use under this deployment. So these are the four process we are following. So this is the diagram. Here this plan and this code is nothing but our continuous deployment. Build and test is nothing but this continuous testing. And deploy and this operate, that means continuous deployment. And monitoring is nothing but the continuous monitoring. So this is the continuous integration. So like that this DevOps will operate it. So this is the basic idea about this DevOps. In next slide we will do some um, new things about this DevOps. There are some code management tools are used like Git. So under this Git, where we can use. So we will learn about that in the next video. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video.